Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It's our favorite time of the week. We're talking about Maroon Devil football time with head coach Sherman Holt here at Swain County High School. And it is a big week this week. It's homecoming coming up. Andrews is coming to town. And Coach, I know it's a big week, but we want to talk about some big people. And those are the people who really help our football program and help keep these guys fed because, hey, football players, they like to eat, don't they?
They do. And, we had a bunch of people reach out this week. David Loftus and our county commissioners fed us yesterday after practice, and it was canned beef barbecue, so it was good. We always enjoy that meal.
Yeah.
And
well, Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel, he does a good job, feeds us a lot. So thankful for them. And then as normal on Tuesdays, the local market BP will feed us spaghetti, and then we have. Parents are going to feed on Thursday after practice, so parents of our kids, and so we want to thank them. And then East Alarka Baptist Church is going to feed us our pregame on Friday. So can't do what we do without the support of the community. And I know we get on here every week and we say that, but tremendous support from our community, our churches, our businesses, parents, and just people that care about these kids. And so just thankful again that we live in Swain County and that they support these young people and what they're trying to do. So just want to thank all them people.
Yeah. And those people deserve thanks because, that stuff's not free. It costs money to put all that together. If you go to the grocery store, you know very well how much that kind of stuff costs. Coach, last week we go up to Mars Hill University, and I tell you, they have a great facility up there, nice press box, great field out there. We had a good crowd on hand, and Madison put up a scrap like we knew they would, but our guys came through, and another big win for the Maroon Devils.
Yeah, it was a good win. Probably, in the second half, we could have done some things a little differently. We had one drive defensively that was kind of penalty laden, and so we talked to those guys about that because in a close ball game down the road, that could cost us. And so we kind of spent yesterday in our film session and meeting session talking about discipline and talking about the things that we can control in helping us be a better football team. And so that was, one of our points coming away from a win. You always still want to try to figure out where you can get better. And we were not satisfied in the penalty game Friday night, and so we really focused on that. But overall, kids played with tremendous effort. We had some kids, contribute that hadn't contributed to this point in the season a whole lot. Mason Cochran stepping in defensively at middle linebacker, done a real good job, to not have had the amount of reps that normally would come and playing the starting role. And so proud of his effort. Again, up front, both sides of the football, offensive and defensive lines, we played extremely well, controlled the line of scrimmage, and that's important, and that's going to be big moving forward as we get into conference play. Yeah. So just thankful that, we got deep enough groups offensively and defensively up front to be able to control the line of scrimmage, and they done a real good job. Again, Josh Collins had a heck of a night, and he just continues to keep having record-breaking nights, and so hats off to him. He's a very humble kid, works hard, but the offensive line Friday with what Madison was doing, they had to play really well, and they kind of had to communicate at the last minute with they would walk those linebackers up. And so hats off to those boys up front because they've done a real good job 3 or 4 weeks now.
Yeah, and, of course, Reese Winchester, people saw him over there not able to play. So we had a new quarterback who also plays on defense. And I tell you what, that says a lot when you're coming in. You haven't played a whole lot of reps under center. So he stepped in, I think, and he had a couple of wrinkles here and there as any new quarterback would, Coach. But overall, I thought he did a good job on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, Drew Cody, the thing we asked him to do last week, especially at the quarterback position, was just manage the game. Right. And he done a real good job of that. Very few mistakes, had a lot of real good reads on the inside and outside veer game. And so for that sophomore quarterback to come in there and that be his first start, we were pretty pleased with his performance. We didn't ask him to do a whole lot, but he made some really good reads in the Veer game, managed the game. The one thing I was proud of is we didn't have any delay of games. And normally when you have a young quarterback, sometimes that can get away from them. And, he done a real good job of managing the team in the huddle, getting them to the line of scrimmage, getting it snapped before the play clock hit 0. And so he done a real good job. And then defensively, he's just gotten better every week because we've played him a little bit every game. And, he just continues to get better. And, it's exciting that you see a young kid like that be successful. So proud of his effort and the way he did Friday night.
Yeah. And, Coach, that had to be tough on defense because, Reese is normally back there at the safety spot, calling his signals up to Lucas, who's in that linebacker spot. Then all of a sudden you're looking at, hey, Reese can't play, and then Lucas got banged up. So, man, you had to kind of come up with a new plan on who's calling the defensive signals in there.
Yeah, and really, defensively, Lucas makes a lot of those calls, but we bumped Josh in to the middle linebacker when we changed kind of what defense we were running, right. And Josh kind of took that defensive responsibility over, and Skeet Cook done a good job too. Skeet's a real good kid that's very smart, very intelligent, and he knows them. He knows the calls. And so between Josh and Skeet, they did a real good job communicating those defensive calls for us Friday night. And we probably give up a little more rushing than what we would have liked. Madison come in with a pretty good game plan that they were going to just stick with, the 3 or 4 plays that they felt comfortable with. And, right. We'd like to have gotten off the field some. But again, talking about penalties, some of those third downs were achieved by them because we had a penalty, and so we got to clean that up. Got to be a little more disciplined in that side of it. But for the most part, it's good to be 5-0. We'll take them no matter how we get them. We'll take them, and we'll just keep getting better.
Yeah.
So.
Coach, I got to ask you this: how do our kids like playing on artificial turf? It's a little more common now than it used to be. For example, of course, Cherokee has it, Hayesville has it. We played at Mars Hill University. Now, Rod White, 50 years ago when he played, it was real grass, so they didn't have that turf. But how do our kids look at that playing on the turf as opposed to grass?
I think our kids would prefer to play on natural grass. Again, we've talked about it before. There's something about fresh cut grass, fresh paint, concession stand, hot dog smell. It's something special about that. And we're fortunate here to still be able to experience that. And I think our kids would prefer to play on natural grass. But it was a neat experience for them getting to play at college.
Yeah.
And, not many high school kids get to say when they were in high school they played on a college football field. And so that was real good experience for our kids. And, they really enjoyed that atmosphere. And so just thankful we were able to do that. But I would say if you polled the team, they would say they'd like playing on natural grass.
Well, if you talk to NFL players, they're really in favor of natural grass because they've had a couple of injuries this year, and that subject has come up for debate with the NFL Players Association, and they're even talking about potentially making all the fields natural grass. But Coach, coming in this week, it's homecoming week, and there are a lot of things that go on around homecoming week. Andrews coming to town. Of course, there's probably activities probably every day this week that go along with homecoming. So hopefully the guys can still focus on football and still enjoy the homecoming activities that follow that.
Yeah, we talked to them yesterday, and they've got some events every day at school, and it's a fun time to be a high school kid, And we told them, enjoy yourself, be a kid during the day and be involved in the activities, whether it be dressing up or, I think today's kickball, and so just doing those activities, being involved, having school spirit, because that's what it's about. Homecoming week's about how proud you are to be a Maroon Devil and how proud you are to be a student at Swain County High School. And so we told our kids, stay focused on the game, of course, but also enjoy those festivities because, for a high school kid, it's probably one of the biggest games of the year. As far as homecoming game, you got people that'll come in for it that normally don't come in,
That's right.
and so. Our kids are excited about that because they know it's going to be a big crowd, and we got a good team, and Andrews coming in, the defending conference champion, and Coach Phillips does a good job over there. So it's kind of like the perfect storm. You got the homecoming expectations, you got a good football team coming in, the start of conference play, and so all those things kind of intertwine is going to make for a good night, and so our kids are excited about the opportunity, and we've told them last couple of days just to kind of don't get too high during homecoming, through the week. Just stay focused, but still enjoy it, because it is a fun time for them.
Oh, no doubt. Talking about Andrews, of course, we renew all acquaintances with James Phillips, who's a former Maroon Devil assistant, and I think he played at Andrews, but heck of a good guy, and one of the best linemen in the mountains, really, on that Andrews team, Tyler West. He's committed to NC State, so they have Dalton Rose, who's a pretty good running back, plays good on the defensive side of the ball. Of course, they lost some great seniors from last year's team that took them undefeated, won the Smoky Mountain Conference Championship, and just a great year last year for Andrews. But Coach, so I'm guessing some of our linemen might welcome this challenge of facing guys like a Tyler West this Friday because he is a good player.
Yeah, we actually were talking about that yesterday with coaching staff and a couple players. Me personally, when I was in high school, I always, welcomed the challenge of playing against somebody that I knew was another college level football player.
Yeah.
And so, our kids up front, that's a big challenge to them.
It is.
Tyler West, he's a tremendous kid. When we did the combine at Pisgah back in the summer for the Coaches Association, got to coach him a little bit in the offensive line group, and tremendous skill set. And, he's a great big old kid, moves well, very athletic, very strong. And so, how we handle him is going to be a big key to Friday night. And, you talk about some of the people they lost last year. I thought when they moved the Rose kid to running back, that was a good change for them.
Yeah.
They got the Aguilar kid back there too. They've had a couple different kids playing quarterback. And so, everybody talks about, last year they were so good and then they lost those. I still think they're a solid football team. They got people that can hurt you. They're still good up front. Coach Phillips has done a real good job with those guys up front. I mean, they come off of football and they're, you can tell they're well coached. And, so I still think it's very important for our kids to understand that they're still a real good football team.
Yeah.
Even though they graduated, their whole backfield and, several defensive backs and athletic kids from last year. You turn on the tape, they still got some pieces of that puzzle that are pretty good.
Yeah.
And so going to be a challenge for us this week, just being sound on defense, playing pretty stingy on that side of the ball, and then offensively just taking care of the football, playing the possession game again, it'll be a tough task for that, and just making sure we score points.
No doubt. We can't overlook Andrews one bit. They're coming in 4-1. The only loss was to a very good Mitchell team who beat Madison. So Mitchell, who knows? Some of us could run into that team down the road in the playoffs. But Coach, we hope everybody's healthy. I know every football team in the Smoky Mountain Conference has had injuries. Kids get dinged up, and I know that's a day-to-day thing. They may be better today, maybe better Friday, maybe better next week than they were a couple of days ago. So we hope the kids are coming around and are starting to heal up just a little bit.
Yeah, normal dings and bangs and bruises. A couple kids didn't practice yesterday, but looked like we're going to get most of those kids back today. And, there'll be one or two that might be a game time decision. But for the most part, all our kids are going to be available. And so, and it's just part of it. You talk to any high school coach right now, they got kids that are injured, and, it's the next guy up. And that's how it's got to be, and that's how it is for everybody. And so, we'll try to get them healthy as we can and use kids that are available. And if they're not, we'll just move on to the next guy and get them ready.
That's it. So. Next man up. But Coach, you hit a good point there a moment ago, because this really kind of starts a brand new season. We've played 5 games. We've played some very good competition in our non-conference schedule. Hey, but this Friday night, we start conference play. This is what it's really all about. And I think our fans understand that too. Hey, let's bring on the conference games, because this is what we get ready for, isn't it?
Yeah, we told our kids yesterday when we met with them before practice that, the undefeated non-conference schedule is great, and that's a good accomplishment.
Sure.
But right now, everybody's back to 0-0. Right. And, these next 5 games are really important for playoff seeding. And you look traditionally of teams that win the SMC are normally going to get a pretty good seed. And we challenged our kids yesterday, of course, 1 week at a time, but the next 5 are pretty important. And I'm sure everybody at Andrews and Cherokee and Robbinsville and Murphy and Hayesville, they're saying the same thing, because they know if you can be a conference champion in the SMC, that's going to feel good come prediction playoff seeding time, because just with the history of our conference, and you look at it, and you always want to get as many home games in the playoffs as you can. And so we just reiterating those points of emphasis to guys, 1 game at a time, but hey, these mean a little more than those last 5 did. So
they do.
And it's just SMC football. I mean, it's just people talk about it all the time, that it's the toughest conference in the state. And I wouldn't disagree. Physically, it is just so demanding, and so we're excited to, get it going this week. And they mean a little more when you start them conference games. They're all important, but these mean more because of the bragging rights and just what it means to be a conference champion. That's a big thing in this league. And so starting off with a good opponent with Andrews, and that's just the next step for us. And got to stay focused and stay sharp, because Andrews is able to do some things that you watch them on film and you still kind of grimace when you look at a few things they do. It's just tough. Coach Phillips does a real good job. So looking forward to it, though.
Yeah. Coach, and one thing I got to ask you, if the players really pay attention to this, but the Smoky Mountain Conference is the best, especially 1A conference in the state. And the state rankings right now reflect that. Robbinsville at number 3. Swain at number 4. In one poll, Murphy's 5 or 6, depending on which poll you go by. But when you have 3 teams from one conference in the top 5 or 6, that says a lot about this conference. Do the kids really pay much attention to that, or are they just focused on one game at a time?
Well, I think they see it. We tell them rankings don't mean a whole lot. Yeah, the RPI is how we're going to be seeded, so it's important just to win, and that's what we tell them. In our conference, you're going to have some higher ranked teams, and so if we can win those conference games, it's going to be important. And I try to take the Nick Saban approach. I think he calls it poison. Because it's very easy to kind of lose focus when people are patting you on the back and telling you good job. And we've had a lot of success, and we really challenged them yesterday are you going to wait until it's too late, or are we going to get better at certain things? Even though we're 5-0,
right,
we're not where we want to be. And so that's the most important thing, is just telling our kids, hey, we're still not there. We still got to get better. Here's where we need to improve. And had a real good practice yesterday. We come out, very physical practice yesterday, very tough. We didn't go for a whole long time, but got after it and, really challenged our kids, and look forward to having another tough one today. We're going to get after it for a couple hours today and really be physical and do a lot of tackling, and that's important. And so, just telling our kids we got to work hard. Try to keep getting better, keep focusing on those things that we can improve on.
Oh, no doubt. Coach, one final thought, of course, we're going to be playing right over here, and it's just so big to have that crowd behind us, whether we're on the road, but especially at home, because Man, that crowd really, I think, the players hear it, the coaches hear it, the other team, I think, sometimes hears it. So it's big to have a good crowd here at home, isn't it?
It is. I tell you, we've been fortunate this year to have really good crowds, and us as a staff, we got a lot of former players on our staff, and when you got people like Coach Rose and Coach Hyatt and Coach Jones and Coach Stevenson, a lot of those guys that played in the late 80s in that good run. I remember Coach Rose, he said, man, there's nothing more encouraging than hearing our fans chant Maroon Machine. And I'll go ahead and tell you, we got one of the best fan bases in the state.
We do.
And
we do.
Very passionate. And, we talk about the fence walkers. That's just the mystique of Swain County football.
Yep.
When you got those older people that are on the fence that played here, and they're part of the foundation of why we have the expectations we have. And so just come out, pack the stands, be loud, cheer, support these kids, support the band, support the cheerleaders, because it's all part of the game experience, and it's one of those things where it's special. And the louder it is, I think the better our kids play. I'll just go ahead and tell you. So let's pack it out for homecoming. Be loud, support your Maroon Devils, and it's going to be a good night.
Oh, no doubt about it. Fans, Andrews coming to town. It's going to be a big night. We hope to be 6-0 after we get conference play underway, and we want you to be here and be part of that. Homecoming 2023 is coming up here on the Maroon Devils Network.